Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now October 5th of 2023, and as far as Star Wars goes, Ahsoka has now come to an official conclusion. The finale debuted just a couple of days ago, and now we have nothing until, by the way, 2024, where 3 Star Wars shows so far are in the lineup. The Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, and Andor Season 2. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. And one thing about Bob Iger, I always call him Bob Liger. I know it may get old, but that's what he is. He likes to lie, he likes to string the general public and the shareholders along as much as possible until he can't anymore. And one thing revolving around Star Wars movies right now that are in a complete mess of a situation has a lot to do with Bob Iger's cost containment plan, his budgeting restrictions, and everything else happening between himself, the Disney board of directors, and some of the top shareholders out there like BlackRock and Vanguard are really to blame. Let's get into all of this, shall we? Now, we know that Star Wars movies have been very lackluster for quite a very long time now. I think that the closest thing that we got to George Lucas's Star Wars was Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, which some of you guys may or may not like that movie, but I really do feel that that was peak Disney Star Wars. It really was. After that, you got The Last Jedi, you got The Rise of Skywalker, you got some of the TV shows that just fell completely flat in my book. And the Ahsoka finale, by the way, I was not impressed at all. I'll be talking more about those specifics in the coming days. But what's interesting about this has a lot to do with what Bob Iger had to state about the current situation over at Disney involving Star Wars. Now, with Bob Iger and his cost containment plan wreaking havoc at Disney, one major development has to do with what he had to deliver concerning the future of Star Wars. Iger went on to deliver the following. After carefully analyzing the current state of our many brands, such as Marvel and Star Wars, we felt it was best to pursue cutbacks and budgeting restrictions and to expedite these developments here at Disney in order to improve our statistics for the 24 year and beyond. One decision that we carefully reviewed and decided to move ahead with was by canceling multiple installments related to the Star Wars franchise. This includes both movies and TV shows, as we now want to focus on quality instead of quantity. We firmly believe that Star Wars customers have been dealing with franchise fatigue, and that is the source of why we haven't been quite meeting the numbers that we had expected. So our strategy to do some cutbacks on Star Wars films that were set to be announced this year will no longer be happening. Now, guys, let me say one thing about Bob Iger before I get to the next big thing that he mentions, is that this just goes ahead to show you that they have no idea what they are doing with Star Wars. This is like an endless vicious cycle. Announce Star Wars movies, cancel Star Wars movies. Working on Star Wars films behind closed doors, and then those announcements never get made. And this really just goes to show you that they really have no idea how to handle a film slate when it comes to Star Wars. Now, I've said this many times, and I defend this to this very day. Star Wars belongs, and always belonged, on the big screen over TV shows and streaming. That's just how I see things. It just feels more official in my book. It looks better because they pour more budgeting into those actual projects when it's a movie, and it looks better. And that's why I really do value films over television in the sense of Star Wars strictly. For some reason, Star Wars on television doesn't look quite as good as it does in the movies. I mean, even the sequel trilogy, in my opinion, as much as I hate those movies, they do look superior than any of the TV shows besides Andor that actually came out. Andor really was able to make it look like a film. Now, what this goes to show you is that Bob Iger has no confidence in Star Wars at all whatsoever. As far as we know right now, Dave Filoni's movie, and Bob Iger touches on this, Dave Filoni's movie, the James Mangold film, and the Rey movie are really the only ones standing right now. And let's get into the next thing that he actually touches on, because this is where things get even more crazy over at Disney, and it goes to show you that they really have no knowledge of how the fans see and how they think about the Star Wars universe, and how it actually works with George Lucas's philosophy. This is a big missing element, by the way, that needs to be fixed, and I highly doubt it ever will. But let's get into the specifics. Now, he goes on to elaborate again. However, we are still motivated to releasing a film featuring actress Daisy Ridley that will bring light to a new Jedi Order and Dave Filoni's future in an ever-evolving challenge on where we want to go. We are now restricting our film slate. This means dialing back on massive projects we had in early development that were either going to be connected to some of our 3 announced films or completely separate on their own to expand the timeline. So guys, what Bob Iger's saying there is that they were about to do spin-offs to the Rey movie, to Dave Filoni's film, and to James Mangold's movie to kind of expand everything. And now they're canceling out all those ideas and embracing something different to create something more straight to the point. Let's get to that too. He elaborates again, our previous film slate we felt was too overcrowded with unnecessary films. We are also looking to canceling many TV shows and finding a strategy to turn those into movies in the future. But that is an ongoing challenge we are endlessly trying to figure out. We have an exciting update that we will be announcing in the coming months from Kathy Kennedy about her direction with continuing the Acolyte quite possibly on film for that timeline to get an expansion. Now, I think that what he is teasing here is working hand in hand with a big report. I know Deadline talked about this and other major trades out there, is that the Lando Calrissian series is becoming a movie now. And I've said this many times, why would you want to do that? Now, that's upping the roster to 4 Star Wars movies. You got the James Mangold movie, you've got Filoni's movie and the Rey film. Now you got the Lando movie. That's 4. However, this could very well be replacing James Mangold's movie. There's been a lot of rumblings out there that they want to ditch his film, that they want to ditch him entirely from Star Wars because of the failure of the Dial of Destiny and how that bombed at the box office. I mean, think about it. Would you go see a James Mangold Star Wars film after Indiana Jones 5 failed? That may very well be a complex answer. You know, I think that Mangold has some talent. He's very much hit and miss. But I don't know if he's really fit for Star Wars. I'm just not quite sure on that just yet. So, again, Bob Iger making it openly clear that they are wiping out their film slate, many of which was unannounced, that was supposed to be announced at their upcoming earnings call by the first week of November. Right around the same time, by the way, when they announced Rian Johnson's new trilogy back in November of 2017, you guys may recall this. That was a big deal. That was a very big deal because that really made people, the general public, overconfident in Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi. Like, oh, he's getting a trilogy? Even before this movie released, he must be that great. That's why a lot of people went to the theater and checked that movie out after hearing the major news. So, overall, I think that the last earnings call is going to be a disaster as far as announcements go. You're probably going to get more subpar TV shows announced. But anyway, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.